A reading from the book of the prophet Isaiah. Comfort. Give comfort to my people, says your God. Speak tenderly to Jerusalem, and proclaim to her that her service is at an end. Her guilt is expiated. Indeed, she has received from the hand of the Lord double for all her sins. A voice cries out, "In the desert, prepare the way of the Lord. Make straight in the wasteland a highway for our God. Every valley shall be filled in, every mountain and hill shall be made low. The rugged land shall be made a plain, the rough country a broad valley. Then the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all people shall see it together, for the mouth of the Lord has spoken. Go up onto a high mountain, Zion, herald of glad tidings. Cry out at the top of your voice, Jerusalem, herald of good news. Fear not to cry out, and say to the cities of Judah, here is your God. Here comes with power the Lord God, who rules by his strong arm. Here is his reward before him, his recompense before him. Like a shepherd, he feeds his flock. In his arms he gathers the lambs, carrying them in his bosom, and leading the ewes with care. The word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God.
About a month ago, I was driving to class at Kenrick Glennon, and I had the radio on, and I heard an interview with Scott Kelly. He's the astronaut who is promoting his new book called Endurance. It's part biographical, and then the other part of it chronicles his year-long adventure in space. And I knew right away that I wanted to read the book. And so when I got home later that morning, I went online and I downloaded the book, and I read the whole thing, of course. Those of you who know me aren't surprised about that. And in part of the book, he talks about how many astronauts, when they return to Earth, have a newfound appreciation for their faith. In reflecting on his own experience, Scott says this in the book. I was raised Catholic, and as is the case in many families, my parents were more dedicated to their children's religious development than they were their own. Mark and I, his twin brother, attended catechism classes until one day in 9th grade when my mother got tired of driving us. She gave us the choice of whether to keep going or not, and as many teenagers would, we chose to opt out. Since that day, organized religion has not been a part of my life. When Samantha, his daughter, was 10 years old, she asked me at dinner one evening what religion we were. Our religion is be nice to other people and eat all your vegetables, I said. I was pleased with myself for describing my religious beliefs so concisely, and that she was satisfied with it. I respect people of faith, including an aunt who is a nun, but I have never felt that faith myself. Now, I have tremendous respect for Scott Kelly. I think his contributions to science will continue to be unfolded for decades to come. Yet I can't help but think that he missed the point, and a lot of other people in our society like him missed the point about what Christianity is really about. Christianity isn't merely a set of moral principles, although it certainly contains those. It's not a bunch of obligations that one must fulfill, although certainly faith does require those things of us at times. No, Christianity is fundamentally about encountering a person. It's about encountering Jesus Christ. And the God that Isaiah is preaching about in this reading that we heard is a God that Isaiah knows personally. He's encountered him in an intimate kind of way. He says, "Comfort, give comfort to my people," says your God. Speak tenderly to Jerusalem. Proclaim to her that her service is at an end. Her guilt is expiated. It sounds like someone who has a really personal relationship with God. And that's the reason why Isaiah's prophecy is so effective, both in history and certainly why it reaches our ears today, because it comes from the experience of encountering the living God. And the question for all of us, believers and unbelievers, to ponder this Advent season is, like Isaiah, do I encounter that God? And for those of us who are believers, do I see myself as a prophet, as someone who proclaims to others the saving power that Jesus brings to my life? Because the temptation for many, many people is going to be, especially those of us who are Americans, to relegate faith to some private sphere in my life, or to say, well, that's the job for you guys, you priests and religious. That's not my job. But if we've truly met Jesus, if we've truly encountered Jesus, all of us will feel compelled to share that joy with others. And that's what it means to be a prophet, fundamentally. To witness to others about the encounter that you have had with Jesus, and to invite them into a similar encounter. Our world is full of people who are longing for purpose and meaning, and God is calling you to be the one to show them where that purpose and meaning can be found, or rather, in whom it can be found. The God that we await this coming Christmas, Jesus, gives us that meaning and purpose. And not only that, He helps us to realize what it truly means to be a human being, to love God and to allow God's reign to encompass our entire lives. So my challenge for you this second Sunday of Advent, certainly prepare your own heart for the coming of Christ, but also think of ways that you can share that great joy of what it means to encounter Jesus. Fear not. Cry out to God and say to the cities of Judah, "Here is your God."